Hello, hello. Sorry for the delay in uploading. I've been on holiday, and as such, I've had much time to, well, not much time to play the game, I guess, kind of, and that's certainly affected these wars. But also not much time to, record and upload. So now I'm just doing it in batch. These are my holiday highlights for the last 3 wars. It's been very hot here in the UK, but we've kind of managed. So I think. Okay, our first fights I wanted to zone in on. It's just this. This is war number 4, section 2. I get that this had mild interest, I thought, because I'm using Nimrod against Iron Man Infinity War, and that's not. I originally was going to use Void, and I double checked, and like, no, this guy's not shock immune. I was getting confused about. Oh, I couldn't quite. It's bleed and cold snap effects. He's immune when he has the armor, so it's like, okay, that's fine. Nimrod can take this, and it's just a nice little example of Nimrod being super duper effective when you're, against non-mutants and such. And indeed here, if there's a, if he can take the defender here, he works quite well against the node because there is a passive prowess associated with this node. So, which he will just remove once you're in the orange mode. I forget whatever protocol that's called. Now, you may also have noticed, so I think here next time I touch him, he'll lose his prowess. Which is just a nice bit of extra damage. You'll also notice that this Iron Man Infinity War has suicides, which is good, which is kind of why I felt most confident coming in here with Nimrod. That was a nice kick in the face with SP2. And is he dead? Yeah, he's dead. This war was a bit of a silly one. It was a bit of a mismatch. We're against like a Platinum 2 alliance or something. So they placed, their guys had suicide or something like suicide and stuff. So not really fair. And I also thought I'd show off this fight because it's kind of a fun fight. Maybe because I knew the stakes were not so high for this one. I brought in I chose to bring in Void here. And now, of course, the problem with this node is you get these passive disorients on you when you parry. And there's a feature of this node that I don't think people necessarily use all that much. When they throw their specials, as she's about to do, she's gonna gain a prowess for every part of the special that I have blocked. However, if you parry the special, you gain the prowess yourself. And like I said, I don't think people tend to know that. So here, I parry the rock, and sure, I gain the disorient passive on me because I parried, but I do also gain the prowess, which is kind of cool. I don't think it really matters for this fight, and of course, because I use it with an SB1, which is a sort of utility thing rather than a anything else thing. Here, I know she's unblockable, so that's fine. I'm just stalling, hitting into block and so on. Now I go unblockable when I go at her. There, I think she technically parried me, or something. She blocked me and copied the buff. I thought or maybe she only does that on blocks, not parries. Otherwise, I guess I would have got stunned. But I don't know. Now, of course, she is just sort of melting away. For Void's a bit of an old classic. I really like using Void. It's nice to bring him for this fight. Here, I don't bother trying to do any of that block stuff. I just think, well, let's just find out. Go for a slightly slow special intercept. At this point, the fight's over. That was kind of fun. And it's a good thing I did bring Void. I knew I needed someone just for this Scarlet Witch, so I brought Void along. And I ended up, due to scheduling, conflicts, I guess, with our guys, the guy who was assigned this thing fight couldn't take it, and the guy who was taking the penny behind the thing needed to move now. So I thought I can take this fight with Void because I knew, because we had been, communicating amongst ourselves. I knew that this Void, this thing had suicides, which makes him a pretty dodgy placement for this node because the poison debuff that's on him is constantly giving you power, and of course, as well as the fact that using Void, you're doing all this direct damage constantly, as well as the poison damage. So this is a fun fight. I could have parried him at the start because, of course, his stun reflection goes on cooldown because he has the poison debuff on him from the suicides, but I don't. To be honest, I just wanted this to be a nostalgia trip for me, of me taking thing bosses with Void, which I used to do all the time. Back in the stubborn days and all that. Because it's kind of similar. You're just not. You can't learn any parry. Of course, the stun will reflect. and you're constantly gaining power. So it's just like a fun, let's play things, mechanics. Let's get them. We're not trying to turn them off or anything. We're getting to 15, baiting out the specials, responding, making sure that you're doing your damage consistently. Playing it nice and safe. Here I do trigger the protection when he throws a heavy, but it doesn't matter. Hold block, so we throw a special, counter attack, get to 13 and throw the SP1, which puts him to 15 and pushes him nicely to special 2. And so on. And of course he's melting because I'm doing all this constant damage. And yeah, the fight's pretty simple. I think once upon a time I did do this fight in a proper season war. There I got smacked because I won. I did do this fight when the opponent didn't have suicides, and I think it was okay with Void. It's obviously much slower because you don't have any specials, but I think it's okay. You can kind of take that fight without, if the opponent doesn't have suicides, but obviously it's super easy if they do. So those are some fun fights. Here I'm applying my white magneto to the guy taking penny, which he needs. Well, it's good for him. And that's war number 4. There's only one fight from war number 5. It was a bit this was an interesting one because I wasn't able to plan, and so a regular member of PUD stepped up. So massive thank you to him. So I didn't plan this war, hence why you can see I've got a slightly unusual team. Slightly unusual for me. I've got Apocalypse and so on. Cable. I only used him for one fight. Got myself a horseman and used it on AA and sort of did a couple of fights with AA. And this is the last one. I included this one because it's kind of like, it's a nice comparison to the one where I almost died at the end of last season, AA versus Cersei, where my heavy attacks were triggering her glancing, and here she triggers it again, right? So here I handle it better, and exactly what to do. I just sit there and parry. I'm getting backed up, but I just sit there and parry. I know she's gaining power, but whatever, it's kind of fine. Now, building up all those poisons, she throws her SP2, and I just block it, and it doesn't matter. Don't even try and evade it. And because I built up all those poisons here, Horseman AA with increased ability accuracy is just carrying her up. And now she's dead. So that was a nice little sort of throwback, I guess, or a nice example of how to deal with that fight. And that's all I have for that war. And I think I have the whole of this next war because it's kind of fun. That's because I'm using Nimrod. I like using Nimrod. We start out here with a bit of Toad, which is obviously super duper easy for Nimrod. Oh, sorry, there's no audio here. Never mind. Yeah, I presume you don't even bother with the war boost. Do I? Oh no, I do. This must be for later. Yes, this is for the next fight. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's not much you can say of any interest here. I'm sort of learning how to play Toad a bit better, and here I decide to normally I stay in the sort of blue protocol and parry a bunch to build up my charges, but here I decide I'll push him. I'll go to orange to clear his prowess, and then of course I unleash that SP2, and we're good. Here I sort of I'm feeling super confident, but I decide I will play it slow. I will bait out the SP2. And yeah, very easy. That wasn't really much of a highlight, but I think the rest of this war is a highlight, so I thought I'd just include the whole thing. Now, this is a fight where I think we've had people die to before. Now, they've placed Mojo here because when you knock him down, he clears his debuffs, so Spidey 2099 isn't good. And I guess Immortal Abomination is he can still definitely do it because you need to use the L3, which skips all the poisons and goes straight to the passive acid wash skill boost. But Arbom doesn't get the white magneto pre-fight. He doesn't get the he doesn't get the passive stun, and that's really useful. So so my choice for this is Falcon. Knock him down, gain the fury, and because notice all those timers there, that's his whole block thing, which I managed to not trigger. Because I'm a hero, I get the passive stun, so even though he's debuff immune here, I can still parry if I choose to. And here I didn't, but I did earlier. And because, of course, Falcon is a global attacker, you have no buffs, which means you don't have to worry about any of Mojo's well, you don't really have to worry about Mojo's stuff. Eventually, if you keep triggering his prompts, he will gain power and like regen and stuff, but it doesn't really matter. Here I'm triggering locked on because I may as well. Throw another heavy. And because he has the locked on, I don't actually gain the fury, so I guess that's a mistake, but most importantly, the protection's gone, so whatever. Here I'm just being nice and careful, getting him to throw specials, and I probably should have thrown it there to finish it, but yeah, this fight's now over. So I made it look super simple. I think when people have died to that, they've sort of been quite focused on locked on, like they tried to get locked on and kind of got cornered. It's just not that important. We don't need locked on really. The most important thing that Falcon has there is that he doesn't gain buffs, and that he gets the White Magneto passive stun, and that's kind of all you need. Now, a bit later in section 2, this is where things get kind of fun. Um, first of all, I've got Weapon X. Now, I don't know how commonly known this is, but so this first fight has this node where they gain, where any damage they take when stunned is reflected back, one eye open. However, because of a glitch or something, I don't know, if you use the White Magneto passive stun, no damage is reflected. So as long as you have that going for you, that element of the fight is gone. And this is just a hazard shift to bleed and shock. Now, of course, now here I hit into him and I forget, oh crap, I have to wait. I thought it started with bleed, which is bad. Of course, gain 2 shocks, which is annoying, but not the end of the world. I can just parry and build up, or I can try to parry and build up to 10. Here we're fully ramped up. I can launch into him, or at least try to. He's at 15. I need to be a bit careful here. Do I bait out the special, or do I hit him? No, I hit him, but I know that he's, yeah, and I sort of just about push him there. Now here is the difficult bit, which is why they placed him here, because trying to wait out the shock, but also he's super aggressive. So I think I do get tagged. Do I? Possibly. And then I decide just to hit him anyway. I only gained 1 shock, so not too bad. And here he's there I get tagged. However, here his rage is over, or at least almost over. Well, apparently I don't care. I'm just cracking on. Yep, don't care. Huh? You just destroy him anyway. So yeah, that was alright. Now things get dodgy on this last fight. Now I probably played this wrong, as in I did the wrong thing here, because I actively decided I really want to take this now and get my ward done before I go to bed. Now, what I should have done is wait until the next morning when the global would be down, because I'm not doing any minis as usual. When the global's down, they also lose some stats. They lose an extra bit of health and a bit of attack. That's what I should have done, but I really wanted just to be done with this war. You know, I'm on holiday. Like I said, I wanted just to put it behind me and focus on having a nice time with my family. So far, it's going okay. Now, of course, Falcon is useful for this fight because no buffs, so you don't have to worry about the global, don't have to worry about Mystic Dispersion and all that stuff. And when he's got locked on, none don't have to worry about Hazard Shift. The difficult bit is when you're not locked on, as here, and I do get kind of cornered. Here I managed to get locked on again, managed to stun him, so I remove his power gain thing, but he's still got quite a lot of power, and I need to get him to throw specials while also not wasting too much time, because I need to hit him when locked on is on. So there I need to parry him again to remove the power gain, and so here I'm cornered again. Can't hit him really. Well, at least I choose to roll the dice, hit him a bit, get lucky, don't get shocked. Fully evade his heavy in the corner, and here I'm holding parry and kind of combine that with a locked on throw. Sorry, locked on activation. Here I miss a parry, and that's big. Then I'm thinking, oh crap, I've just missed a parry. I've lost my indestructible boost. He's got loads of power. If he throws an SP3, I'm kind of dead. Here I decide to commit while I've got locked on. I just get the guaranteed crit. Luckily, he doesn't throw his SP3. Doesn't throw it again. Hit into his block, and I finish him. Yeah. So that fight got extremely dodgy at the end, and I'm very lucky to be alive. If I had used like a 20% green boost instead of a 30% one, I would have died. But equally, I would have won that fight a bit easier if he didn't have that extra 6,000 health, right? Now, having said that, I do also think that I did actually do stuff to win this fight, if that makes sense. So here, I throw my SP2, it gets guaranteed crit. I have the power back boost, which pushes me to SP1. Now here I know I need to throw it, and he stood in. I dash forward and cancel the dash forward by doing the dash into the SB1. And I'm not sure, but I think me doing that saved me because he was still in the sort of animation where um, he was being knocked down from my SB2, and he wasn't able to throw his SB3 because by the time he'd got up, I was throwing my SB1. I think. I'm not 100% sure. Now, that second time there, I absolutely did get lucky because he just sat there and held block instead of throwing his SB3. So I think yeah, I just kind of wanted to mention that as well because I'm not sure, but I think I did the only thing I sort of could have done to stop him from throwing SB3 at first. So yeah, that's worth saying as well. And of course, the other thing to note there is that was a rank 4 Dragon Man. So yep. Um, and yeah, that's kind of it. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed these little highlights. I'll see you all in the next one. Ta ta.